Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNSFANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Browns this season, you know things haven't exactly gone according to plan. There's a lot of talk about where this team is headed and the various pieces that could either elevate them or hold them back. And one of the most intriguing stories right now involves a young quarterback who, despite being highly touted, is stuck in a pretty unusual situation. That's Shedeur Sanders, the talented quarterback who has been making waves at Colorado and was once considered a top prospect in the draft, but now his NFL journey is taking a different direction, especially with the Cleveland Browns. Let's back things up a bit. Shedeur Sanders, son of legendary NFL cornerback and current Colorado head coach Deion Sanders, has been a name on everyone's lips lately. Coming out of college, many expected him to be a high pick, a player with the talent and arm strength to make an immediate impact, but the road to the NFL has been anything but straightforward. He was initially expected to be drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, an organization known for developing quarterbacks and giving young talents a shot. But as it turns out, Shedeur made it clear he didn't want to go to Baltimore, and he told them not to select him. It was a bold move, a gamble that perhaps was rooted in his desire to find a better fit or a team with a clearer path to playing time. And yet, the Cleveland Browns, a team with a storied history and a passionate fan base, ended up being part of this story. But here's the thing, Shedeur hasn't exactly found his place in Cleveland. In fact, he's not even on the active roster. As of now, he's listed as an emergency quarterback, which means he's essentially a backup in case of injury. He dresses for games, sure, but he's not getting meaningful reps, not yet. It's a situation that frustrates many fans, especially those who see his potential and believe he deserves more than just a spot on the sideline. You've got superfan Steve Harvey, who's been vocal about his support for Sanders. He's been openly campaigning for the young quarterback to get a real shot to prove himself on the field. Harvey's words echo the sentiments of many Browns fans who see the talent and wonder why he's not being given a chance. And he's not alone. There's a lot of speculation about what might happen next, especially with the rumors swirling around Sanders' future in Cleveland. Now, it's important to understand that Shedeur's situation is complicated. Despite the lack of playing time, he's shown flashes of the skill that made him a highly regarded prospect. But the Browns, like many organizations, are in a bit of a limbo. They have a veteran quarterback, Deshaun Watson, who's been trying to find consistency after a tumultuous start to his Browns tenure. The team is in a bit of a transitional phase, trying to piece together a winning formula, and that's impacted young players like Sanders. But here's where things get really interesting. The NFL landscape is always shifting, and trade rumors are part of the game. Shedeur's name has come up in discussions of potential trades, and one of the most talked about possibilities is a move to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, why would the Steelers be interested? Well, for starters, they're in a bit of a quarterback limbo too. While they have the legendary Aaron Rodgers coming in for the 2025 season, all signs indicate he's not going to stick around for long. The Steelers are prepping for life after Rodgers, and the idea of bringing in a young, talented quarterback like Sanders has been floated around. According to reports, the Steelers might be looking to acquire Sanders in a trade deal, especially considering that they could get him for a relatively low cost. The logic here is that Pittsburgh sees potential in him, enough to develop him into a long-term starter. And let's be honest, the Steelers have a history of developing quarterbacks, from Terry Bradshaw to Ben Roethlisberger. They know how to mold talent and turn it into a winning formula. So trading for Sanders, especially if they can do it before the draft or during the offseason, makes a lot of sense from their perspective. The proposed trade would see Sanders moving from Cleveland to Pittsburgh, where he'd have a much clearer shot at competing for the starting role. As of now, he's been sitting on the sidelines in Cleveland, with limited chances to showcase his skills in meaningful game situations. But in Pittsburgh, with their current quarterback situation and the need for a future starter, Sanders could be the perfect project. Plus, if the Steelers decide not to bring back a veteran in free agency, Sanders could be in line to challenge for the starting position pretty quickly. This scenario is even more plausible given that Steelers management was linked to Sanders before the draft, indicating they've had an eye on him for a while. The team has been always looking for a quarterback of the future, and Sanders' arm talent and athleticism make him a tantalizing option. The question is whether Cleveland is willing to part ways with him, especially given the potential they initially saw in him. But with the current situation, him being a backup and not getting on-field reps, it's understandable that his future in Cleveland might be uncertain. let's talk a bit about Shedur's development. Despite his limited chances in Cleveland, he has shown flashes of why he was so highly rated coming out of college. His arm strength, his ability to throw accurate deep passes, and his leadership qualities are all evident. But he's still a rookie, and rookies need reps, game experience, and a stable environment to really thrive. That's why a move to a team like the Steelers, with a solid supporting cast and a clear plan for development, could be exactly what he needs to reach his full potential. Now, from the Browns' perspective, this situation is a bit complicated. They invested a lot in Deshaun Watson, and they're counting on him to be their franchise quarterback for years to come. But the NFL is a league where change is constant, and young quarterbacks sitting on the bench is not unusual. Browns fans have been clamoring for more from their young talent, and Shedeur Sanders' name has been a constant in trade rumors. Some see him as a future star, while others view him as a project that might flourish elsewhere. And it's not just about Sanders. The Browns' current season has been a roller coaster. They have a talented roster, a strong defense, and a coaching staff that's trying to find the right offensive rhythm. But inconsistency at the quarterback position has been a big obstacle. If the Browns decide to keep Sanders as a backup, they're probably hoping that he develops behind the scenes, learns from Watson, and perhaps gets some game reps in the future. But if they see a better opportunity to get value in return, especially with an eye on the draft or free agency, they might consider making a trade. The NFL trade deadline and offseason are always fertile ground for surprises, and this might be one of the more interesting stories to watch. The Browns could look for a veteran quarterback to add stability, or they might decide to hold on to Sanders for the long term. But the truth is, his future in Cleveland is still very much up in the air. And as we see with so many young quarterbacks in the league, a change of scenery can sometimes be exactly what's needed to unlock their true potential. Switching gears a little, it's worth mentioning how this whole situation reflects the broader trends in the NFL. Teams are increasingly willing to trade young quarterbacks if they believe they can get better value elsewhere or if they see a clearer path for development. The Steelers, for example, are in a similar boat. They're trying to prepare for the post-Rodgers era, and grabbing a young quarterback like Sanders for a relatively low price could prove to be a savvy move. They're banking on their coaching staff's ability to develop talent and their history of successful quarterback development. Meanwhile, the Browns are in a different phase. They're trying to contend now with a roster that's built to win, but quarterback stability remains a question mark. The trade rumors surrounding Sanders highlight how uncertain things are at the position and how much teams value young, talented quarterbacks who can be molded into franchise players. It's a high-stakes game, and for Browns fans, it's a roller coaster of hope and frustration. Every move, every rumor seems to carry the weight of a potential future star or a missed opportunity. So what's next? Well, the NFL offseason is just around the corner, and it's likely we'll see more developments regarding Sanders' future. Will Cleveland decide to move him? Will Pittsburgh pull the trigger on a trade? Or will Sanders stay in Cleveland, biding his time and waiting for his shot? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, this story is far from over, and it's going to be fascinating to watch how it unfolds in the coming months. And remember, folks, no matter what happens, the passion for the Browns is alive and well. The team has a rich history, and the potential of young players like Sanders inspires hope for a brighter future. Browns fans are known for their resilience and unwavering support, and that's what makes this rivalry in this league so exciting. From the highs of playoff runs to the lows of uncertainty, the journey continues, and we're here to bring you every twist and turn along the way. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this whole situation with Shedeur Sanders? Do you think he's got what it takes to be a franchise quarterback someday? Would you like to see him get a real shot in Cleveland, or do you think a trade to Pittsburgh might be the best move for him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Browns' future. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. This team has a lot of potential, and every move they make can shape the future of the franchise. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, go Browns.